Hello and welcome to the analysis of the Hindu newspaper dated November 4th, 2022. In this video, we are going to talk about two important newspaper articles. These articles are going to be very important, very significant for the civil services examination. But this doesn't discard the fact that other articles were not present. So other articles were also present and they are also important, but they don't require that kind of attention or that kind of explanation. So here's a list of important newspaper articles which were present in the Hindu newspaper dated November 4th. You can consider reading them. And if this is very clear to you, do consider subscribing to this channel to never miss an update from the bureaucratic way. And join us on Telegram to get all the important PDFs important for the civil services examination. So with this, let's now head to the first important newspaper article. Now this particular newspaper article is regarding the enrollments in the pre-primary, primary and the other factors which are important for the education, right? So this particular report we are going to discuss, but before that, what is there in this article? So this article talks about the fact that the number of children entering pre-primary classes in 2021 to 2022 saw a further decline, resulting in 30% fewer students in the school section as compared to pre-COVID, as younger students with less access to remote learning continue to bear the brunt of learning loss during the pandemic. So what are the factors over here? First is that the enrollment rate in the pre-primary schools is dropping. And what is it? The specific data is that it is 30% less than the pre-COVID era, right? And this is happening due to the factors what? Due to the factors such as the lesser access to the remote learning, that is the online learning. Now this particular report has been presented by the Ministry of Education. This particular data has been provided by the Ministry of Education and the report is named as Unified District Information System for Education Plus Report on School Education. Now let's talk about the specific data regarding it. So the first data is regarding the enrollment to the pre-primary. Now this particular report says that a total of 94.95 lakh students entered pre-primary classes in 2021 to 2022. Now this particular data the enrollment rate saw a 10% decline because earlier or in the previous year, that is 2020 to 2021, the enrollment rate was or the number of enrollments was 1.06 crore, which dropped to 94.95 lakhs in 2021 to 2022. But it also needs to be kept in mind that in 2020-2021 time also, there was a decline of 21% from the earlier year. In 2019 to 2022 to 2020 to 2021, there was a decline of 21% in the enrollment because the earlier enrollment in 2019-2020 was 1.35 crore. This shifted to what? This shifted to decline of about 21%, and in 2020 to 2021 it was 1.06 crore, and this dropped to what? 94.95 lakhs in 2021 to 2022. So now if this is very clear to you, let's now talk about what happened in the cases of the primary classes, that is 1 to 5. So the primary classes or enrollment in the primary classes also saw a drop for the very first time, and it fell from 12.20 lakhs in 2020 to 2021 to 12.18 lakh in 2021 to 2022. Alright, so now we have talked about the primary classes. Let's now talk about the higher secondary. So when the enrollment happened from primary to, or when a student goes from primary to higher secondary, this data is regarding that. Now number of students increased by 19 lakhs to 25.57 crores. Alright, so the increase was what? 19 lakhs. And at this particular point of time in 2021 to 2022, it is 25.57 crores. So this is a positive sign. Now let's talk about the data regarding the number of schools. So there was a decline in the number of schools due to closures as well as a lack of teachers, and there were 20,000 fewer schools in 2021 to 2022, as the total number of schools dropped from 15.09 lakhs to 14.89 lakhs. All right, so there was a decrease in the number of schools as well. And let's now talk about the number of teachers. Now there were also 1.89 lakh or 1.98% fewer teachers, as their number reduced from 96.96 lakhs in 2020-2021 to 95.07 lakh in 2021 to 2022. So we have talked about the number of schools, we have talked about the number of teachers. Let's now talk about the infrastructure. Now in infrastructure, we are specifically talking about the computer facilities. Now the computer facilities were available in 44.75% of the schools. Now that's a good number, but the internet access was only available in 33.9%, which means that 11% of the schools did not, out of 44.7%, 11% schools did not have any kind of internet access. And apart from it, but this doesn't discard the fact that the availability has improved from the pre-COVID levels, because in the pre-COVID levels it was just 38.5%, or availability of the computers was just 38.5%, and the internet access was just 22.3%. Now it has increased to 44.75% computers available in the schools, and the internet access was also increased to 33.9%. all right, so this is a major shift, or this is a positive sign regarding the infrastructure facilities, or facilities available in the school. So this is the report which was presented by the Ministry of Education. Now the report was named as what? Unified District Information System for Education Plus. It talked about what? First, it talked about the enrollment to the pre-primary, then it talked about the enrollment in the primary classes, then it talked about the primary to higher secondary. It also talked about the number of schools, it also talked about the number of teachers, and it also talked about infrastructure, and specifically about the computer facilities available in the school. So this is it regarding this particular report, and this is it regarding this particular newspaper article. Let's now head to the next important newspaper article. Now this particular newspaper article is regarding the Amur falcons and a festival which is celebrated in the Nagaland. And it also talks about, this particular report or this particular article also talks about the first of its kind avian survey, right? So now, what is there in this article? So this article says that Nagaland is undertaking the first avian documentation exercise going beyond the Amur falcons, the migratory raptor that put the state on the world birding map. Alright, so we are going to talk about the Amur falcons. We are also going to talk about what is there in this particular exercise or documentation exercise. All right, and we are also going to talk about a particular festival which is celebrated in this particular area of Nagaland. So now the 4-day Toku Imong bird count from Friday has been timed with the post-harvest Toku Imong festival of the Lothas, the Nagaland community that dominates Wokha district, arguably the most preferred stopover of the Amur falcons while traveling from the East Africa to the Southern Africa. So what is happening is that there is a 4-day survey or documentation exercise which is named as Toku Imong bird count. Alright, so now this particular bird count is during the timing, or this timing fixes with or synchronizes with Toku Imong festival. Now this particular festival is celebrated by the Lothas, which is the Naga community that is present in the Wokha district. Now this particular Wokha district is very significant, very important, because it is the most preferred stopover of the Amur falcon. Let me repeat it. All right, so there's a state which is Nagaland, right? You know about the Nagaland. Now there's a district in Nagaland which is known as Wokha district. Now this Wokha district is most preferred stopover of the Amur falcons. Now these Amur falcons travel from East Asia to the southern Africa, and they have a stopover in this particular district, that is the Wokha district. Now if this is very clear to you, then let's talk about this particular exercise. So this particular exercise, that is the Toku Imong bird count, entails watching and counting birds on any or all days from the November 4 to 7, right? November 4th to 7th from anywhere in Nagaland for at least 15 days, and uploading the avian names of eBird, the bird recording platform. So now there's a bird recording platform which is eBird. Now you can cite any kind of bird available in this particular state, that is the Nagaland, and you can upload it on the recording platform, right? So this is the exercise which is going to happen for a 4-day period, and it synchronizes with the Toku Imong festival, which is celebrated by the Lothas community. Now Lothas are the Naga community that are present predominantly or dominantly in the Wokha district, right? If this is very clear to you, let's now talk about the Amur falcons. Now Amur falcons are the world's longest traveling raptors. Now the raptors are what? Raptors are the birds that feed on other birds, on the other species, right? They are carnivorous in nature. Now they start traveling with the onset of the winters. Now they are the world's longest traveling raptors. It doesn't mean that they are the world's longest traveling avian species. There's another species known as the Arctic tern, which is the longest traveling avian species. Now Amur falcons are the world's longest traveling raptors. Raptors are what? Raptors feed on other birds as well as the animals present in the surroundings, right? So now the raptors breed in southeastern Siberia and northern China, and they start their migration journey from there and migrate in millions across the India and then over the Indian Ocean. Then they go to the southern Africa. And why do they go there? To find the warmer weather, because the southeast Siberia and the northern China becomes more cooler. Alright, they become cool and they become cold, and that is why they travel to the warm areas of the southern Africa, and then they take the return journey to the Mongolia and Siberia, right? Now their 22,000 kilometer migratory route is one of the longest among all the avian species. Alright, so now the longest traveling avian species, it is Arctic tern, which travels around 90,000 kilometers, but doesn't discard the fact that Amur falcons travel a short distance. They travel around 22,000 kilometers, and they are the world's longest traveling raptors. Alright, so now this particular name, that is the Amur, comes from the river which is present between the border between Russia and China, and hence the name Amur falcon, because they live around that area, and that is why their name has also been Amur falcon. Now this particular area in Nagaland, that is the Wokha district, or what is known as Wokha district, right? So now this particular Wokha district has a lake which is known as Doyang Lake. Doyang Lake in Nagaland is better known as the stopover for the Amur falcons. Here is where they stop over, right? So they stop over. They have a stopover during their annual migration from their breeding grounds to the warmer South Africa, and thus Nagaland is also known as the falcon capital of the world. Due to this particular phenomena, due to this particular stopover, Nagaland is known as the falcon capital of the world. And if we talk about the concern regarding, or what has the IUCN and the Wildlife Protection Act has to say, then under the IUCN red list they come as least concern. That is, there are plenty of birds, right? There are plenty of Amur falcons, but This doesn't discard the fact that Indian Wildlife Protection Act 1972 and the Convention on Migratory Species provides it protection. You cannot kill it. Alright. So this is what is meant by the protection. So we have talked about what? We have talked about the festival. We have also talked about the Amur falcon. And we have talked about what was there in this particular report or this particular article. So this is it regarding this particular newspaper article, and this is it for the day. Thank you from my side. Do like and share the video and subscribe to this channel. Have a good day. Bye.